Yesterday we talked about the REST API, right? Today we talk about the REST APIs. Let's go to
Everyone recipe.
yeah, custom REST APIs.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we also talked about that inner classes, wrapper classes. Okay, that's also an important thing that whenever discussing on the APIs, we have to also look at the what will be the response. In a response should be sent in a proper way. So it's a kind of a custom REST API, and we also talked about that how we call it from a external tool or a third-party system. How it calls, it will calls via the any postman, means it will call via just hitting the URL and get the response. Okay, so this is the way how we are working, how the things are working inside the Salesforce, and so that we design the API so that the and design the API, expose the API so that any other third party tool will come and access the details available up here. Now I'm moving to the next topic called working with the SOAP APIs. So as I told earlier that SOAP API are pretty much more secureable, more what is called more concrete about the integration. Means in this we are their data transfer takes place in the XML format, and the most important thing is that the it contains a configuration file for the org, means related to the org. We just download the configuration file and paste it over some use that configuration file to any other third party system so that they can communicate with the Salesforce. Okay, so they can communicate with the Salesforce. Now whenever we are using the SOAP API, we have two things comes in a mind, that two types of means the actually the transferring the configuration that we designed, it's called WSTL. Okay, it's called WSTL. Actually it's a XML format of what will be the organization that includes all the description about each and every single entity present in that org. Okay, so it's a WSDL file. Means what is that? It's just a configuration file which includes all the entities present. Means all the entities here in the Salesforce, means that the objects, fields, custom objects, all the metadata things, or we in short we can say that all the metadata is present in that and this WSDL file, and all the metadata methods are also present in that WSDL file. Metadata methods just like that: create, update, insert, writing queries, and extracting queries, extracting data. These all kind of methods are also configured in this WSDL file. So for working with the SOAP API, we have two types of WSDL file. First is enterprise WSDL file, and second is partner WSDL file. Enterprise WSDL file are those that WSDL file. It is more means it's actually this divided in a something like that when we have to what we going to design. On the basis of that, we are separating the WSDL file. Means suppose we have to make a connection between Salesforce and the third party system, just in a way that it's just a one-on-one communication. Means it cannot be changed, and when it's established, it cannot be changed, and means we are not going to change it. We are not going to change that configuration, and it's a kind of that only one org get attached to that system, and it will do the data transfer and do all kinds of methods that are available. So when we have to do something like that, fix one-on-one communication, then we have to do that enterprise, and then we have to do configuration with the help of an enterprise WSDL. And if we have a situation something like that, we want to put a configuration, but any other org can be means many different org can we communicate with that many different org will have to work with this. So at that moment we use the partner WSDL file. Okay, so let's have a look at how we going to use that WSDL, partner WSDL, and enterprise WSDL, and how we are working with the SOAP. Since we don't have any third party server that will work with the SOAP. So just like that, we don't have any third party server that will work with the REST APIs that will make a request. So we use the Postman for that. Similarly, when we are working with the SOAP API, we have a SOAP UI. SOAP UI, there's a software called SOAP UI that helps to check the what are the methods present in the WSDL file. Means the SOAP, it will help us to generate all the methods and help us to test on the WSDL files. So let's have a look at that, how the Salesforce is working with that. So you have to get no, it is called SOAP in Salesforce. When you search that, you will find there is a trailhead. It's a small trailhead that will show you that it's a small trailhead. Means first it's a one-page trailhead that show you that how to work with the SOAP client. So in this you will see that you need to download for the enterprise WSDL file. So you can see you have to come up here and write API. Means in the setup you have to write API, and once it's set up you will just click on that. Okay, here you find that all the WSDL files. So since we are working with the enterprise we are going to use the enterprise WSDL. So you start working with this. It's just asking because these are the managed package app that installed in this org. That's why it's asking for the which version of managed package file I need to put in the enterprise WSDL file. So just click on generate. So once the generation is successful, it will show an XML file. Okay, you can see this is the file that is generated. You can see it is an object, account object configuration, and all the fields. And then similarly, if I scroll down, yeah, here are the methods: set password, change password, and means there are so many things happening. Means once we go through in that, we will find there are so many methods, and that helps to work with the SOAP API. Let's have a look. Just save that. Just save that. So right click on this page and click on save as. So this file got save. Type the name WSDL. My first WSDL file, and let's save it at here. Let's save it at my. Now, once you complete it, now we have to download a software called SOAP API, SOAP UI. Sorry, SOAP UI. There is a software called SOAP UI, and you have to download this software. The SOAP API open source. It's a paid one, so you don't use this. This one is the just have to, because we have to just have to test that how the SOAP API working. And in the actual scenario, you have got the proper documentation that how to work with the SOAP API. Means if you are working with any third party server, means actual scenario, you will got the documentation about that how this system work with the SOAP API. So there is no issue. But the thing is that you have to know the concept that how the SOAP API is working. So for that, just testing You have to download this software. Once you download this software, it will come something like that. So you can see it comes something like that, and you have to open this one, this software.
Siraj,
Hmm.
what is the difference between SOAP UI and Postman? Postman doesn't have the features that SOAP UI has?
No, it does not. Postman is only used to test the REST clients. Only REST API it is will test. It will not test any with the help of a WSDL file. It's not designed to do that.
So when you say on the REST client, we can use SOAP messages or SOAP request in Postman, but you are specifically saying WSDL file, it needs to be used?
SOAP messages we are not getting in the Postman. Postman is only work with the REST messages and REST clients. This the Postman is for only for the REST services.
But I personally did it. There is you can do SOAP request as well in Postman. And
So, but that the only thing that whenever we have a kind of a URL available up here, means it's we have like means we have like a REST. We are using a REST, but we can't use the WSDL file. Means just like the main concept of the SOAP, how we are working.
okay,
That's it's not possible. Yeah,
okay,
you can means you can do that thing, but it's not fully available over there. That's why I just don't prefer to go there. And something are available up there, something are not. So that's why.
okay.
And its capability, it's a software capability. If it can do, then it's good. If not, then we have to move some. We have to work with some different software. So once you install, you will see something like that. If you can see my screen, it's showing me that projects that you have to design. Are you seeing or no? Hello.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we're
Yeah,
seeing.
yeah, we're
Okay.
seeing it.
Actually, it's
Actually,
very
the screen is different than that. So let's create a project. My project, and in that I will browse to the. I will browse to that my users. Downloads. Hmm, and in that my password. Okay, let's minimize this. So once the API once you upload the WSDL file here, you will see that these are the methods are available in this. These are the methods available. So first we need to do a login. So for that, let's open this and click on the request. Okay. So you can now this thing you can work with the this thing you can also work with the REST API. Sorry, what again that Postman. Postman will also work. Means you just have to copy this URL and copy this XML format. Means it will be a body, it will be a header, or sorry, it will be URL and paste in the Postman. It will work fine. So I think this thing you are talking about, right? Right.
Yes, exactly. Yes, yes.
Yeah. This thing will help.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so while working, let's first do a login up here. So for the login, you have to change the configuration. Just like that, you have to add the organization ID up here. So for finding the organization ID, let's find that, and we can find the organization ID. Just like here, company information. Why it's not showing? It's not showing ID. Let's switch to the classic.
Suraj, I would like to ask you again. So WSDL file is not, you are not able to import it into Postman, right?
Yeah, yeah. I don't see is there is any functionality available in the Postman. But usually the no, WSDL file is not importable in the Postman. You can import the JSON files. Means JSON file is also configured, are also available, but it's not importable. Means if you look, let's see that we have an AML, graph, curl, WADL, OpenAPI. No, we don't have any WSDL file. No, no, we can't import.
Okay, thank you.
So when you click on the company information, and here you can find that your organization ID. Just copy the organization ID and paste it up here, and then you need to add a username and password. I forgot my username and password. This is my username, and this is my password. Okay, once added, let's yeah, question mark somewhere. I put the question mark. Okay, that's the issue. Let's remove that portal ID from here. It is optional, so let's remove it. And I also need the security token. For the security token, where should I receive the security token? This one. Yeah, there. You guys know that how to means previously I told about that how to get the security token. So that's the important thing. I pasted the security token and then hit that. Now once I got the login, once I got the successful login, and you can see it is also showing me the same thing. Might be my screen is so smaller so that you cannot able to see. Yeah, you can see that it is also the same information as you have find that as we have find over there. You can see my screen, or should I make some zoom? I think it's just
Yeah, you just zoom out.
It's a very small.
Yeah,
Sorry, forget it. That's system preferences, and then I think it's a font. Screen. I don't know how to display color. Anyone can quickly guide me that where do I find the font? I don't know. So, display, contrast, color files, color size. I even know that how to means there is I remember that there is a thing called font size, but it's not showing that. screen size. No.
So you can increase the size of your screen, might be more clear.
Yeah, that I know that, but I forget that how, where do I found that configuration? Okay, I got something.
If you
Yeah, now
Yeah,
it
from
looks like.
system.
you are able to find it from system preferences, display.
Yeah.
And select the
System.
field.
Yeah, system preferences, display,
and then scale.
Field.
scale. Okay, let's make it larger. Okay, now it's my. Let's cancel. Okay, still I don't think.
No change.
Guys, kind of you can view. Yeah, it's a, means if you're working in your app, you will find that. So it's not a means anything. I'm going to be panic, but it's just a thing that whenever you make a request, you will find such a XML format, and this XML. This is quite same, means I can also do the same thing in a uh, because it's also working with the URLs, so I can also do the same thing with the Postman. I just copy and paste the. Now it's look weird to me, such a big, and then I will paste. Sorry, post. Content type should be application. Text XML. There is no video. So header is missing. Might be some authorization. No, zoom it. Zoom. What happened to this? Stuck. Neither closing, neither doing anything else. Let's close it. Where is my project? Oh. Okay, then once why it's not let me security token. Copy this only. I don't know, when I zoom it, it's hanged, so I'm not able to make it zoom. So if you, let's make it something like that. So you can see the session ID is available up here. So in the while working with the APIs, session, either we can say that the session ID or we can say that the access token, both are the same. So this is the session ID, and let's copy the session ID and paste it somewhere else. I'm just can paste it there. Session ID, I will paste. Oh, let's copy the whole and paste it here. Okay, here's the session ID. We will use the session ID for future logins. Okay. Now suppose I need to create a record, just like the same thing, just we are doing that. There must be a method called create record or create here. Open it. Okay, and in that we need to remove the unwanted things. First, let's little bit zoom it. So we have fields, create objects, and fields to know ID a subject. And apart from that, we need to remove everything. We need to put the session ID, and this we need to remove all those things to remove header. we need that session ID, and then in the body we need to create the field name and add it up here. So let's create that, or let's have a look at if I'm not missing anything, so that I'm talking about only about the login, nothing more, nothing less. Yeah, same thing. Actually, in order to work with SOAP API, you have to take a look at so many times that. Okay, let's 0 or more repetitions. Fields to null. It's showing here name, but here nothing called name. That's the issue, that why it's not showing the same thing. So first let's put the session ID. You can see here is the session ID. Here's the session ID. So you have to paste the session ID what you have generated from the last here, or from the last API. Here is the session ID. Just copy the session ID and paste it up here. So now we have a session ID. Now we need to add saying that we need to delete this one and paste this name, the request. And here I have to make changes. Instead of that, I need to make login changes. And we need to also make changes this one. If I need to create the record of that account, so I need to paste this one here, means a subject definition. I need to do that, and in that subject definition I put the account, and these are the field names for that, name and all those things. And now I need to configure the just like we have previously configured the instance URL. You can see here this. Let's copy that URL. It will work either this one or either this one, both one, any one of them it will work. Means, and let's move here and just change and paste it. So pressed. It's non-accept destination login must be as for destination URL. Let's try this. Services class 36.0. 50 point, this one. That's yeah. Oh, I don't know what is missing. Yeah, it's got, actually it's this one there. C instead of C, it should be, instead of M should be. So okay, finally got the response. So you can see that here we have to make some changes, that we need to add some add our session ID and add our instance URL, just like that. The same way that we are working with the working with the REST client. We need to add the instance URL, we need to add the session ID, we need to add the object name, everything we are working, but the format is changing, that we have to work something like that. We if we need to work on the account, then we have to do that, and and this is also how we can means insert multiple records at a time. Suppose just like copy and paste up here, and instead of just put contact, and contact we have a required field called last name. Yeah, last name, just copy and last name. Okay, new soap contact, and yeah, you can see as in a same request we can create both records, account and a contact in the same request, and in that response you can see that IDs come up. Let's copy the ID and check it. Let's copy the ID and check it. Let's here. I think I copied the ID wrong. Details, you can find this one. Yeah, and similarly we can also see the contact. So we get both, means we can multiple, we can create as many means we can create all the means, suppose you want to create so many records at the same time, you just have to clone that, means you just have to add a configuration, and in a single request it will got created. So it's a kind of an advantage in the working with the SOAP. And there is a disadvantage too. Suppose suppose I'm creating a let's don't create, let's update some any of the or just let's create it, means working on the create. So it's a similar thing. Suppose I am working with the account, and account has some few field names. Just let me add some values. Okay, coming up here and here, I just want to see some field names. Edit object. Let's put account source. Account source. And also like a look at some values. Let's annual revenue. And then number of employees. If I hit right now, it got error because the pick list is not matching. So let's add a pick list value since account source is a pick list. So let's account source, make it for inquiry. Annual revenue, let's make it a number of employees should be. Okay, and I hit this next. It's created, you can see, and come up here and can check that it's working fine and no issue in that. Now, suppose we got a situation that we created a new field over up here. Let's get test. And next and save. Okay, I created this field. Okay, now if I look at here, it's shown a text field. I come up here and just okay, I just okay, I created text field and added some values and hit the next. Wow. It should not have to it should not have to work how it can work because SOAP will not work with the new fields. Configuration not changing. Text. Let's convert it to classic. That's pretty much why it's populating, because the last time when I worked on this type of thing, it's not, because this configuration is not present in this or in this WSDL file, and I'm not sure that why how it's working. So it's working, so there is no issue. It's working. Okay, so that's the way how we are working. Means I'm not sure that how it can be working, but might be some update or something like that. Let's to work, because usually this is not working. Means whenever a new field got created, we need to again re-upload the WSDL file to be work. But it's working right now, so it's might be the develop. But the concept is that only thing that it's a it's a more stronger than the SOAP API, and it's more secure. It's more stronger than the REST API, and it's more secure than the REST API. And it is usually we have to develop the one-to-one communication and something like that. So for that we generate this kind of thing, and we work with the SOAP client. And usually when you have to work with the SOAP API, you have to do a proper documentation. You are just giving with a proper documentation that you have to follow this documentation and this way, because it's a quite when we are working with the SOAP API, it's quite secure. And the thing is that you have to just you will provide it with the documentation that how the third-party server will work with the SOAP API, so that it will make a request to the Salesforce SOAP API, means work with the SOAP API, and it will make the request to the Salesforce SOAP API. So that's quite of a configuration thing. And you can see, and whenever you are working on that, you will see that. Okay, so so this is pretty much of that. And I think in order to work with the Postman, we have to do this. You have to just copy that URL, and where is my Postman? And just make a new and make changes to post, and then SOAP action. In the header, you need to add a SOAP action. Okay, and then in the body, everything is same. And in the body, the content type will be XML. While working with the REST, we are doing the application XML, and then in the body, we will paste that XML and hit send. Might be I right now can got the SOAP client is error. Content type requested to text XML. Okay. SOAP header is missing. So let's have a look at that. What is present in the SOAP header? Content type text XML. Everything is there, correct and white. It's a response header, I think, request header. SOAP action. Where is the SOAP action? I had. It's the issue with the SOAP action. SOAP action. Let's try this. Yeah. Okay. So we got a success. So for that, what we need to that what I have to do, just like the same way, we can just use that means Postman to also generate that thing, but we don't know. But I prefer you to use this one. You have to also familiar with this SOAP UI, because all the WSDL file means whenever you have to work means not only the Salesforce, if any other thing have to also work on the self have to also work, that you will also have to take a work with the SOAP UI. And soap also help this will also help to generate the configuration and make changes in the configuration. What are the configuration file at present? You can make the changes in the configuration, and after that you can again means if you want, then you can use the Postman for making a request, because at the end it will means whatever be the way, at the end it will hit a URL and get the response. But in the actual scenario, in the real time, you will not see this URL. Means when you are working with the WSDL file inside a server, you will not see this URL. You will just configure that inside somewhere system, and then it will internally communicate with the Salesforce and do all those things. So but here we can see that because it's help us to analyze that WSDS file, this SOAP UI. So we can copy and just do the changes, and so that we can find whatever with the so that we can find that if any changes we can made, and work with that. And yeah, so pretty much this is about the SOAP API and how we are working with the SOAP API inside the Salesforce. Okay, so that's it. Okay, if you guys have any questions, you can ask, or just try with that. There are so many methods. There is no one or two method. There are so many methods. All the methods that are available in the REST API, it's also available up here. But the thing is that it's something different way. You just have to open and click on request, and then make changes and do the changes. Just like if you want to do a query, then you have to just come up here. It's not opening. Hmm. Yeah, query, you can do the queries here. Just you have to put the query string, and you can remove all the unwanted variables. Just if you don't want to use the any unwanted if you want to remove that unwanted variable, just remove it from here. And while removing, always take a look that don't remove any header that is in use. URL package version header. Yeah, you can remove this one to this one. Don't remove the session header is a very important, because it is store the session ID. And let's copy the session ID, and where is the query? I know might be screen is too smaller, and let's make it again destination URL. We have to always do check our destination URL. Create, let's move to the create. copy the destination URL and then go back to query. Yeah, once it's run, it's showing me that all the responses you can see on the basis of query. I can got it's the field that I queried. I filled only ID and name, so it's showing the ID and name of all the accounts that is created. So similarly, you can work with and go and play with this SOAP UI. Yeah, and that's it. Okay, then use the SOAP binding. Okay, that's why it's already get always get refreshed configuration. Okay, okay. Hmm. Okay, so that's the means. So pretty much that's it for the SOAP API. So let's have a break, and after that we will learn about that how to make a request. Means now, right now we discuss means from today, today and tomorrow we discuss about that how to make a how the any third party server will make a request to the Salesforce. Now we will learn that how Salesforce will make to a request to any third party server. We will discuss about that. So let's come after the break and we will discuss on that. Okay.
Josh, I have a small question.
Yeah.
So how could you get the session ID?
For getting the session ID, you will go to this. There is a login. You can find there is a login. Let me zoom in. You can find this is the login. In that login, you have to just click on request, and then once you click on the request one, you will come up here. Let's make it. Why it's not sliding up down? Yeah. Okay. Once you come up here, you will have to add this organization ID. You know that organization ID. You can find the organization ID from
Company, Salesforce.
yeah, from company information. You can find the organization ID. Then you have to put username and password, and then you have to put the security token.
Okay.
And then hit this green. And once you hit that green button, you will get this response. And in this response, you will find the here it is security token.
Oh, I
This
see.
one,
Okay.
session ID. It's asking for the session ID. So you just have to copy the session ID and work with that.
And for any other methods, we need to use the session ID, right?
Yeah, we need to use the
Same one. So we could
same.
start with the login.
You need to start with the login.
Okay.
Yeah, means that is work. If you are able to generate the session ID from the access token, remember I also the access token that we have generated in the in this while working with the REST client. So that will also work. Means if you are able to generate the access token from that REST client, it will work here also. But I prefer you to go to the login and then do that. But the access token is the same as the session ID. Both are the same. Okay, so if you check out the values, their values means if you compare the values, if you generate the access token and a session ID at the same time, if you compare their values, they are same. They are nothing, no difference in that. Okay, so that's the thing that so if you have a access token, so that's why if you are called as a means while working with the APIs, if you are if someone is called access token or someone at some place you will find session ID, both are nothing, both are same. There is no difference in that. Only the verbal difference is that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any more questions? Okay, then come back after few minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, we will again contact. So since we are going to work with this Google Drive, let's have a look at that, how the drive is working, how the Google Drive means Google Drive API is working.
Your screen is not visible.
Oh, sorry. I haven't shared screen. Okay, so for making an integration with the Google Drive, first we have to take a look at the Google Drive. So let's Google Drive API. First, we have to take a look at the Google Drive API. Then we have to do integration. So let's have a look at that, and let's click on the quick start. It's a Google Drive app. So first we need to enable the Google Drive API. So I'm not working with this one. So for that, first let's start with the scratch Google Drive API. You have to do a sign in to a Google account. Yeah, this one. What is the number 5? Okay. Now it's let me in. Okay, now let's click on the references. Actually, it will take some time. That's why I don't want to do that. Google Drive API, quick start. First, we need to enable the Drive API. Let's enable the Drive API. Okay, copy this one because it is going to be used. Copy and let's paste in somewhere. And just like the same thing, remember in the Salesforce we designed the connected app, yeah, and it has a client ID and client secret. The same thing, the same concept will work at each and every integration, each and every profile. Means you just to first create a client ID and client secret. So either you're working with any of the integration service, you have to just follow the same concept. You have to design this client ID and client secret. So it design, it's enabled. Now create an API key, and third, your project name is quick start. Okay. Okay, let's copy the API key also. Now we are ready to go. Now we have to take a look at the ways to do. Let's create a file. And no, I don't want to do that. I want to do it somewhere else. Not Java browser, this one. So that is generated web application. It's not a web application. No, I don't want to restrict the key. The key, I generated a key, I generated auth token. Now I need to work with the APIs. Yeah, it's taking too long. It's a REST API for drive REST API, yeah. And get, insert, update, delete, touch. I want to first need to get, let's work with the get. Okay, this one. First we need to work with this. I need to get all files. Insert patch, copy, delete list here. This one. It will list all the files. Okay, it's working fine up here. So for that, let's have a look that. Actually, it's showing that the documentation is usually changing. Now I need to find some other way. Okay, so I got the URL. This is the URL on which, and this is the way that how we are getting the file names. And now let me know you that how I find this. So here it is showing that that in which URL I need to hit so that I will get the list of all files available up here. And in this here it tell us that if the URL got success, we got something like that in this our body. So first, just like that, before implementing an API, since it's a REST API, so before implementing that thing, first we need to test in our Postman. So for testing the Postman, we just to copy this one. And where is my Postman? Come up here. And then we have an API key, this one. And we can use this API key, or we can also use the API key just like this. And in order to validate a user, we have to use the API key, this one. And we generated the API key, I think. Where in the first API? Here is the API key. Here is this one. Copy this one. Question mark key equal to this. Okay, and I hit the send. Now got the error. Insufficient permission on the file. Location file permission. I think we need to also send scope. Let's see what's in the scope. Yeah, this access token. Yeah, access token. We haven't inspired that way to get the access token. That's the missing. That's why I think causing the issue. First, we need to log in. Authentication API. Here is the authentication. Delete, copy, trash, get, export, but there is no authentication. Without authentication, how can someone access? The main issue is that their authentication is very tough. They did not provide proper documentation. While I'm doing that, can anyone tell me that is there you completed all those things or no? Objects and fields. Yes or no?
No.
Yes.
So if
No.
you are not completed, just complete it while I'm
Let's go,
working here.
go to the credential.
No, just I'm just complete it so that I can give you the next phase of that assignment. If you are not completed, then I will not give the next phase of that assignment. It's going to be pile up.
I have completed also.
Yeah, it's okay. Then good. Help the other one if there's someone who's not completed. Stuck drive thing. Because now we are going to just only few topics are remaining, and then we have to move to the main thing. So before that, you have to complete all those things that assignments that are talking about. So complete the just complete the creation of the objects and fields and all those things. I'm waiting here.
Right now?
Yeah, right now. I'm talking about right now. Because the documentation is changed.
We have 18 minutes. It's going to be 8:30. Is okay?
Yeah, it's okay. You can create 18 minutes. It's lots of time to create objects and fields. Just
Oh,
open the
object.
schema builder and
We did it.
huh?
Last time's assignments, we did it.
Yesterday's assignment you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
You completed that?
Almost.
Yeah, except the last one.
Except
Except what is the last one?
Roll to all.
So okay, I'm not talking
Yeah.
about the last assignment. I'm just talking about the yesterday's assignment. Actually, it's documentation has changed. It's taking time to that find the exact documentation. They changed their security model. I got the API, but I'm not able to find the API to authenticate the user. Remember, for making a request, I need to authenticate the user. The process is always same. It always redirecting with there here, but it's not redirecting me to authenticate the user. This will not help me to authenticate a user. Let's try. Just showing me the drive. Okay, just I'm not sure.
Suraj, if you are having problem, we can end the class today early.
No, but before that, I asked you guys to do something. Yeah, I'm listening. I'm listening. Yeah, tell
Yeah,
me.
We can
Suraj,
stop the recording at least.
Yeah, right.